Just after midnight on May 14, 2008, a 19-year-old walked away from his car while still on the phone and vanished. This is the night Brandon Swanson disappeared. May 14, 2008, a late spring night in southwestern Minnesota. Brandon Swanson was 19. He'd spent the evening celebrating the end of the semester with classmates at Minnesota West's Canby campus. Later, driving home, his car slid into a ditch. He climbed out, uninjured, and called his parents on his cell phone for a ride. On the phone, he sounded normal, calm, practical. He told them he thought he was near the small town of Lind and tried to signal with his car lights. His parents drove out, headlights cutting across empty black fields, and searched while Brandon stayed on the line, guiding them. Minutes stretched into nearly an hour. Then came a detail that shattered the simple story. Later that same day, investigators checked his phone records and discovered his phone had communicated with towers, placing him near Porter, roughly 25 miles away in a different direction from where he believed himself to be. That discrepancy sent searchers to a different area. Shortly after, searchers found Brandon's car, a Chevrolet Lumina, in a ditch near Taunton. The doors were open. His keys were missing. The scene looked like someone had simply stepped away. No wallet, no phone on the body of the car to explain a sudden departure. Back on the phone, remembered by his parents, Brandon's last audible words were plain and human. Oh, shit. The line did not reconnect to a normal conversation after that. Those 3 words are the last confirmed sound anyone reported hearing from him. What did investigators do next? They organized land searches with dogs, scoured fields and riverbanks, and followed every lead they could. One searching dog's scent trail led to the Yellow Medicine River. But the trail did something strange. After reaching the riverbank, the dog crossed the water, continued up the opposite bank, followed another gravel road north, and then the scent trail ended, as if whatever had happened picked up and continued away from the river. Searchers found no body, no belongings that placed Brandon in the water conclusively. That lack of physical confirmation, no body, no conclusive river evidence, left several possibilities open. Some investigators and family members considered drowning or hypothermia, given the hours and the river's proximity. Others noted the scent trail that crossed the river and continued, and wondered whether Brandon had been intercepted or assisted by someone on land. Law enforcement has never ruled out foul play entirely. Brandon's parents, Annette and Brian, believe their son didn't intentionally vanish. They pushed for a more responsive system for missing adults, and their efforts helped pass legislation in Minnesota known now as Brandon's Law, which requires prompt investigation when adults go missing under concerning circumstances. That law was signed in 2009. So what are the strongest documented theories, the ones investigators and the family considered, based on evidence, scent trails, and phone data? 1. Accidental drowning or hypothermia. The Yellow Medicine River is near the location where the dog initially tracked a scent. Rivers are dangerous at night. Someone leaving a ditch to walk toward lights could accidentally enter water and be carried away. But, and this is crucial, no body, clothing, or conclusive evidence of drowning was found despite extensive searches. That weakens this as a definitive explanation. 2. Foul play, third-party involvement. Sheriff's statements and investigators have not ruled this out. The abrupt final words, the open doors, missing keys, the scent trail that continued. These all leave open the possibility that someone else was present that night. However, there was no direct evidence at the scene. No known witnesses who saw an abduction, no DNA evidence publicly reported tying a suspect to the area. 3. Misorientation, mistaken location. Brandon believed he was near Lind, but his phone records showed tower pings near Porter Jean Taunton. Night driving on dark, rural roads can confuse GPS and people alike. It's possible he misread landmarks and walked toward lights he thought were nearby. But misorientation alone doesn't explain the sudden "oh shit" and disappearance, unless he encountered danger after walking away from the car. None of these explanations is fully supported by conclusive evidence. That's why this case remains unsolved. Investigators followed real leads, phone records, physical searches, canine tracking. But the trail went cold. For Brandon's family, the unanswered questions became a call to action. They lobbied for change and for a system that treats missing adults with the same urgency as missing children. Brandon's Law stands now as a lasting part of their response to a night that never gave them answers. We will likely never know precisely what happened in those final minutes between a ditch and silence, unless new, verifiable evidence surfaces. But the documented facts remain. A young man called his parents, believed himself in one place, was actually tracked on phone records many miles away, and then walked away from his car into a night that swallowed him whole. No body, no final scene. Just empty fields, and the echo of 3 small words. Oh, shit. There are some cases that never leave your mind, not because of what happened, but because of what doesn't make sense at all. And among those mysteries, one name still echoes through the halls of the Stay on Main Hotel in Los Angeles. Elisa Lam. On February 19, 2013, a hotel maintenance worker climbed to the roof of the building after several guests complained their water pressure was low. Some said the water came out dark. Others said it tasted strange. No one knew that inside one of the giant 1,000-gallon water tanks, something horrifying was waiting to be discovered. But to understand what happened, we have to go back to January 31st, the last day anyone saw Elisa alive. She was a Canadian student traveling alone, and every single day she used to contact her parents back home, until that day. When they didn't hear from her, they immediately knew something was wrong. The LAPD got involved, and her parents flew straight to Los Angeles. Inside the hotel, Elisa's behavior seemed normal to the few people who saw her. One of them was the manager of a nearby bookstore. She described Elisa as cheerful, friendly, even excited as she talked about buying books as gifts for her family. Nothing about her seemed unusual. Nothing that hinted at the nightmare that was about to unfold. Police searched the hotel, including the rooftop with K9 units, but they didn't find anything. No scent trail, no sign of a struggle. And because there was no proof of a crime, they couldn't force their way into every locked room. A week passed, then 2. Flyers went up around the city. Her story spread. And then the thing that changed everything went viral. The elevator video. The footage showed Elisa inside an elevator on the day she vanished. But something about her behavior was deeply disturbing. She pressed multiple buttons, hid in the corner, peeked outside the door, stepped in and out as if running from someone only she could see. Her hands moved in strange motions, almost like she was talking to someone invisible. The video felt wrong in a way no one could really explain, and it spread across the internet like wildfire. It made the world obsessed with this case. If you want to watch her last elevator footage, the link is in the description. 2 weeks later, when that maintenance worker opened the hatch on the rooftop tank, he saw something floating just beneath the surface. Face up. It was Elisa. The tank had to be drained and cut open from the side because the hatch was too small for the equipment needed to remove the body. Inside, Elisa was found completely naked. The same clothes she had worn in the elevator video were floating in the tank beside her, covered in a sand-like residue. Her room key and watch were also inside. When the autopsy came out, the findings only added more mystery. Her body showed no signs of physical trauma, no evidence of assault, no drugs in her system except the medications she was prescribed. And even those appeared in levels suggesting she hadn't been taking them properly. Her cause of death was labeled as accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder listed as a significant contributing factor. But that explanation left more questions than answers. How did she get to the roof? How did she climb the platform, open a heavy metal tank lid, remove her clothes, and get inside the water, all alone? And most importantly, how did the lid close again when it was found shut after her death? There were no footprints, no alarms triggered, and no camera footage showing her going up to the roof. Police dogs couldn't even pick up her scent up there. Some people believe the answer lies in her mental state, that she was disoriented or hallucinating because she wasn't taking her medication correctly. Others think there must have been foul play, even though the evidence doesn't support it. And some people, especially after re-watching that elevator footage, insist there was something more, something unexplainable involved. The internet noticed eerie similarities between her case and the 2005 horror film Dark Water, where a girl's body is found in a rooftop water tank of a creepy apartment building. The resemblance was so disturbing that it made the case even more infamous. Eventually, lawsuits came. Guests sued the hotel. Elisa's family filed their own suit. But in 2015, the court dismissed it. There simply wasn't enough proof that the hotel had done anything wrong. Yet, despite the official explanation, the truth remains lost somewhere between elevator doors that open into empty hallways, between unanswered questions and the silence of a rooftop where no one was supposed to go, and in the water tank that turned one of LA's strangest disappearances into a legend people still talk about today. Even now, years later, whenever someone checks into the stay on Main, they remember the case of Elisa Lam, a mystery that refuses to fade, a story that still chills anyone who hears it, and a reminder that sometimes the scariest things are the ones that actually happened.